Welcome to the Bearded Finisher Podcast, your one-stop show for all things finishing and coatings. Your host, Zach, and a variety of industry experts will guide you through the art of perfecting your finishing and business game. From seasoned pros to fresh faces, get ready for tips, tricks, and trends to elevate your knowledge and business to the next level.
What up, everybody? This is the Bearded Finisher. I'm Zach, your host. Today we have got Mr. Rob Martinez with Rob's Kitchen Remodel and Cabinet Painting. What's going on, Rob?
Hey, Zach. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Zach. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, let's just kind of kick it off. You're out in California, right? Where at?
I'm located in the Bay Area, San Jose, California.
Okay, so you're up, not northern, but like mid San Francisco. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, let's kind of kick things off with a bit of your backstory. Tell me how you got your passion for the finishing industry and what's been the most unexpected part of your journey.
Well, for me, my journey started about 7 years ago. I started as a painter. And I remember when I started painting, a lot of my clients would ask me, "Hey, Rob, do you know how to paint cabinets?" And I'll be like, "Well, I never painted cabinets before, but how hard could it be?" And sure enough, it was really, really hard. And what people don't understand is that, painting a wall and then painting a cabinet is a whole different process. And I thought that I can just, run to a store, pick up some paint and, spray it and it all looked really nice. Well, it turns out it didn't work that way. And I came across so many problems and I had so many frustrations. And then I was at a point where I can't figure this out. And it was really complicated for me. So I started watching a lot of videos and I would hop on Instagram and I will watch all the pros and see how they were doing it. And I noticed that everyone does it a lot, very different. It's all over the place. So one guy will do it this way and this other guy will do it this way. So I just pretty much just stick to one person. And that person that I follow very, very closely is Dennis Rodriguez. So I will follow him very, very closely and watch his technique, watch how he was spraying it, and just kind of, use him as a guideline so I can kind of implement his style. And from there, I just kind of learn little by little. And sure enough, I learned the most by making so many mistakes.
Best way to learn.
Yeah, and I've been the type of person, Zach, that through my mistakes, I've never kind of gave up. I just kind of, what is the solution? How can I figure this out and, make the best of my mistakes? So that's how it started. It started about 7 years ago.
So 7 years ago, did you, were you working for someone or are you doing your own thing?
So I was working on my own as a painter. And then I had a little crew, it was 2 people, and we're just painting homes, interior. And then from there, I started to develop a passion about painting cabinets. And I just, went with it. And now I dedicated mostly painting cabinets. But now I'm kind of venturing off to doing cabinet painting and also kitchen remodels.
So on the remodel side, you're doing turnkey. You're doing tile, granite.
I'm doing everything.
Doing everything. So are you contracting it out or are you doing it yourself?
I'm doing it myself.
Wow. That's impressive.
So plumbing, electrical, framing, tile, drywall, painting. I have all the trades kind of in there.
Yeah. You're just turnkey. So you're just a full kitchen remodel. That's where you're focusing.
And my goal, Zach, is to, get a bigger team. And I want to mostly take the business approach to it and just kind of manage it and train the people, how to do the work, the correct way.
What's on your team now? How many guys you got?
There's right now it's 2 of us, including myself. Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. So 7 years. That's impressive, dude. You've been going at it for 7 years on your own. I mean, that's awesome. Congrats.
I'm always working every single day.
I can imagine. You got to be working nonstop.
I take no days off. So if I have work, I'm working.
That's awesome. So, unexpected part of your journey. I mean, like, what's been the part where you're like, holy crap, I didn't realize that, but I mean, good or bad? Anything that stands out to you?
I think the most difficult thing about running a business act, especially if you're an entrepreneur, is a lot of people go into the business, like with a different mindset, like, oh, I know how to do all that work, and the trades and the skills, but a lot of people don't know the business aspect of it, the numbers. So one thing is to know the trades and know how to do the job, and I got that really dialed in. But the other part that I'm still trying to figure out is the business part, making the numbers make sense. And, that's another journey that I'm trying to, focus on.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, I always tell people all the time that, I mean, I call them serial entrepreneurs. You're not really addicted to any business. You're addicted to the business side of it, to knowing the numbers, figuring out what your cost is, and how to scale that. Like that's kind of what I get addicted to when I was growing my business. And then when I worked with Centurion and CIC, I got addicted to that growth, building a system and using that to scale sales. It's a lot of fun. In your experience, how has the approach or how has wood coatings evolved over the years? And like how do you think it's evolved, and what do you think the driving force is behind the wood coatings?
I'm going to tell you from my experience in regards to the water-based products. About 6 years ago, when I, really started painting cabinets, there wasn't a lot of information out there, and you couldn't walk to your local Sherwin-Williams or Home Depot and pick up a really good product in paint cabinets. Like all this stuff, you had to like special order, or get it from vendor, or it was something that you couldn't buy off the shelf. And then when I went to Sherwin-Williams, I went to them and was, hey, you know what? I have a cabinet project. I'm looking for something high end, good quality. This is a very good client of mine. I want to take care of them. And then my sales rep was like, hey, you know what? You should try Emerald Urethane. And I was like, okay, Emerald Urethane. He told me all about it. It was a great product. So my experience with the water base is that when I was spraying the Emerald Urethane, it wasn't drying quickly enough compared to the solvents. Like if you're using lacquers or any type of solvents, it dries really, really fast. And then when I was spraying the Emerald Urethane, granted it was wintertime, I sprayed it and then, I let it dry overnight. And the next day I came in and it was still tacky. And that was really holding me back. It was really tacky. I couldn't apply a second coat. And I had to wait at least 2.5 days before it wasn't tacky so I could apply another coat of the Emerald Urethane.
Wow.
So the drying times with that product, especially during wintertime, it takes so long to dry, and it's very, very tacky. I'm not sure if you run that problem during summertime, but during wintertime, it took a very long time to dry. Now, if you're running a business and you have to get the job done quickly, I mean, you're holding back a lot, and at the end of the day, time is money. And then, that's when I reached out. I believe I spoke to you. I reached out to Centurion, and I was like, hey, you know what? I'm looking for a product, that I has, quick turnarounds, that I can spray out right off the can. And I want professional results, and, I want something that is quality and durability. I want it all. I want the whole shebang.
Exactly. I remember that.
I'm the type of person, like, I really believe in craftsmanship, and I believe in quality. I'm not about, mass production and getting it out there. I'm about, the high-end client, the quality, the details. I'm all about that. So in regards to the water-based products, I think Centurion is leading the way. I've never had any issues with Centurion with the 2800 series. I believe the 2800 series is a great product, and it's been very good for us. And I get really good results with it.
It's a killer product. It's hard to even list all the good things. It's just an awesome product that does what it says it's going to do, and it's repeatable. You can do this, get the same results every single time you use it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I would agree. Water-based coatings have changed this industry. When I got into it with having my painting company for 10, 12 years, my father-in-law actually started it back in the 80s.
Oh, wow.
And he'd been painting in Vail and then back in Oklahoma. And then I bought him out when I kind of came in. But talking to him, like water-based coatings, like he's 72 this year. And I love my father-in-law. When we still talk about business and painting because it's just in our blood, but we talk about it now, and I talk about stuff that I've done at Centurion or just the evolution of water-based, and he just looks at me and goes, "There's no way water-based coatings can do that."
Yeah. Well, in my opinion, Zach, I think water-based coatings are a lot better than solvent-based right now.
That kind of goes into the next question. So, like, in your opinion, what is making water-based coating so unique?
I think from a health point perspective, they're a lot better than a solvent base. Like I sprayed lacquer.
Agreed.
And I sprayed CV, and man, lacquer and all that stuff. Even with the proper PPE, and you're suited up, and you got everything going on. You got ventilation, you got extraction. The fumes are so strong that I will walk out and feeling kind of dizzy.
Oh yeah.
And now with the water base, the VOCs are so much lower that it's a lot safer to spray those products.
I remember going into my guys when I first started, and I was getting the hang of everything, and I walked into a job site where we were spraying cabinets. This predates me using industrial wood coatings, and we were shellacking some kitchen cabinets.
Oh, shellac.
When I first watched my father-in-law's business, he went on a trip and he asked me to watch it. I walked into a house and they were shellacking cabinets, and I thought I was going to die. Like, it just sucks the oxygen out of your body.
And it burns your eyes too.
Oh, burns your eyes, your throat. It was nasty. I was like, that was like one time, and I'm like, no, we're not using this crap ever again. This is nuts. And that was the one and only time I've ever used shellac. After that, I was like, there's got to be something better. And I would agree. The health wise, the environment wise too, not for just our health, but I think the environment wise, where we're not pumping a bunch of volatile organic compounds into the air.
I agree.
That makes a huge difference. All the way around, but agreed. I'll kind of kick back up a little bit. I usually ask this question, but I kind of forgot. So you're from California. Were you born and raised, or you moved to California? How'd you end up in the Bay Area?
I'm actually born and raised in Mexico. So I was born, both of my parents are from Mexico. It's called Nayarit, Mexico.
I had a lot of my guys, I think I had 8 guys, and 6 of them were all from a little farming town called Zacatecas.
Zacatecas, yeah. I'm familiar with Zacatecas, yeah.
Yeah, the guy that actually bought the business, my foreman, I sold it to him when I left. He was from Zacatecas, and he goes back, he says, about every year to visit. His mom and dad still live down there, one of his brothers, so he goes back and sees family quite a bit. I've always kind of wanted to go because he just talks so highly. It's just a little farming village, and he said it's just like being out in the country. And I'm like,
have you been to Mexico, Zach?
Not central Mexico. I've been to northern Mexico. I've been to the resort towns.
Okay.
But not outside of that. My father-in-law just did a Jeep trip from Durango, Colorado, all the way down the Baja Peninsula to Cabo San Lucas.
Oh, wow. It's a long trip.
10 days. They did it for 2 weeks. He and his brother in their Jeeps had the tents on top, and they stopped in towns. And he said that the best part was just all those little towns. He said not one time when they stopped, like in a little town, did they ever, like, the hospitality was just amazing. Like every night, he's like, you couldn't even, if you wanted to eat your sandwich in your truck, like they wouldn't let you. It's like, no, you're coming home with us. Come on, we're gonna go eat. He said it was like one of the best experiences of his life. He said it was awesome. He wants to do it again.
Nice.
So, and he wants to take my mother-in-law, but yeah, her in a Jeep for 10 days is just not gonna work out. So, what about family wise? I mean, is your family all in the Bay Area? Wife, kids?
Actually, I don't have any kids, Zach. I'm not married.
So you're a workaholic.
I am a workaholic. Yeah, I'm trying to, build a future, secure myself as a man, and so someday, when my business takes off and it becomes very, very stable, I want to leave that to my future children. Yeah.
So you're working on you want to build a legacy.
I'm trying to build a brand.
I like it. Your brand is good. Like I love your logo, the setup that you got.
Yeah, the shirt right here.
There you go. I like it. Yeah, that's awesome. So in Oklahoma and in Texas,
yeah,
when trends, whether it be, let's say, like the Vero metal or the specialty coatings, the high gloss, that usually starts on the coast, usually the east or west coast, and then it works its way in.
Mm-hmm.
So typically what I've noticed in my experience is central US was always like 6 months to a year behind like the designer trends.
Well, I see trending a lot right now, which I don't really like, is like that the European, like the high gloss.
Yeah. Is it starting to get more popular out there?
I've seen it like I've done some homes in Portola Valley, and that's like the rich area towards Palo Alto, Menlo Park, and I'm seeing a lot more of that in those areas. But it's that super high gloss, super shiny, almost like a mirror reflection.
Yeah, like a piano, like a grand piano finish.
Yeah, so I'm seeing that type of trend in those areas, in those big fancy homes. But here in my area, what's trending right now is just like like the matte finish, satin, not too shiny, just kind of like traditional.
Are you seeing any stains coming back? Are you still doing a ton of paint?
I'm doing a lot of paint, and I think what's coming back right now are like a lot of white oak, a lot of that contemporary white oak look is coming back.
Okay. I had a guy call me the other day, hit me up online. He was asking me some questions about some Circa, I think it was. And we were just kind of BSing, and he was telling me he had a customer who's probably in his 50s, a brand new set of cabinets, and he wanted them stained and clear coated, and the color that he chosen was like golden oak.
Golden oak, wow.
He was just like, I'm sorry, I've painted over more golden oak cabinets in the past 5 years.
Yeah, golden oak. No one likes golden oak here.
That's what he said. He's like, the guy probably thought I was. I couldn't hide my face when he said that. Like, I'm sorry, what? But that's what he wanted.
Golden oak. Oh my goodness.
I know. Could you imagine if someone said, "Hey, stain my cabinets golden oak"? You're going, are you sure?
You sure about that?
I just thought that was hilarious. But I'm ready. Like on a visual, I love stained cabinets. I'm ready for the stain phase to come back. Like I'm ready for that. I love stained cabinets, clear coated walnut, clear coated cherry, alder, light stain. I'm ready for natural wood to come back and less of the whites and the grays and the
yeah.
That's one that I'm crossing my fingers comes back soon. That's one of my favorites. Every business, every journey. I mean, you're 7 years in, so you've doubled the average business owner as far as life expectancy. I mean, the average business is about 3 to 4 years. I mean, you're 7. That's one. Congrats, man. That's
Thank you, Zach. Appreciate it.
to be able to go that long on your own and survive and thrive. You're killing it. So, thinking back on that 7 years, like ups and downs, like what was that moment in your career that was like, I need to push myself to grow business wise or skill wise? Like, what was that moment where you were like, all right, this isn't just something for me to make money. This is it.
Well, for me, Zach, what really pushed me to like push myself really hard, it was during those tough times, especially during wintertime and, during the rain when I wasn't getting a lot of cabinet jobs. And during those times where I wasn't getting cabinet jobs and I wasn't getting a lot of work, I had to kind of open up my skills trades and, find different fields of work that I can still perform. So I will keep, having consistent work for myself and for my team. And, that's when I started focusing, if people don't want to paint their cabinets, I can do so many other things in their kitchen, not just cabinets. I was, if the clients don't want to paint their cabinets during wintertime, there's so many other things I can do in their kitchens that, will keep, the business, running. And that's basically what I did. I started, focusing on other things besides painting cabinets.
So, how long have you been doing the full kitchen remodel? Like, when did that start, and how's that working out for you?
That probably happened in the last, I would say, about 2 years now.
So that's pretty new for you. And are you thinking it's been successful for you? It's working out?
It is working out. It's just it's working out as far as I'm a lot more stable.
Okay. So a lot more consistent work.
It's a lot more consistent because when I get the big kitchen projects, it's work that is, for 2-3 months, guaranteed work for myself and the people working with me. And then when you're painting kitchen cabinets, the work for painting kitchen cabinets on average is about 7 days for me to paint kitchen cabinets on a home. And then if I don't get another job, in the contract in the books, then I pretty much don't have work, until I get another kitchen.
Yeah. It's hard to, on the business growth side, that's what I always, when people are asking me, like that's the number one key to scaling is we got to get the business owner out from behind the gun, because, you need to be feeding that pipeline. Like, you need to be constantly. So when you're painting and doing tile, it makes it harder to go do all those estimates. So it makes it a little harder to maintain that pipeline, to be able to do 1 or 2 estimates every single day to make sure you're stacked up. So so on average, do you usually just one job at a time, or do you usually like stack them up, keep 2 or 3 in the pipeline? How does that work for you? So how do you stay busy in an area like California to make sure you and your guy are constantly getting 40 plus hours a week? Like, what's your process?
Well, I like to book at least 1 month in advance.
Okay.
So, like right now, I'm booked all the way until, if I look at my calendar, until the second week of May. Yeah. So after, and if I get any more leads right now, I'm very transparent. I'll let them know, hey, we're booked, but I'd love to get you on our schedule, but it won't be for another month and a half. And sometimes people will be like, oh no, that's too far away, or they'll just, be like, oh, you know what, that's fine, I'll wait. But I like to say book at least 2 months if I can.
60 days out. I mean, that's a good one. I used to always average 4 to 6. That's what I wanted to be.
Yeah, but I'm able to stay booked out for that long because I take on bigger projects. So when you're doing the kitchen remodels or any remodels, those projects are a lot longer. So I'm able to stay more consistent with work.
I mean, my goal was always, my guys didn't like it too much. I had 6-8 guys and they didn't like it, but I was always looking for I think the longest job I ever did is we were there 9 months.
Wow.
I had 3 guys on a 40,000 square foot house for 9 months.
That's
It was
incredible.
it was ridiculous. But that's what I was always wanting, those 30-day, 60-day jobs. Like, I love cabinets, but you know, you can only do it for so many days. So even though we focused on cabinets, man, I'd go for the whole remodel. Like, I want the whole house.
No, that's what I want, Zach. Like I want the whole pie.
Exactly. I was the same way.
Sometimes when I will go out there and I'll do my estimates, right? And people will be like, "Oh, you know what? I want my kitchen cabinets painted." And I will look at their kitchen. I'm like, "Well, you know what? You need a new countertop. These kitchen cabinets are really beat down. I mean, they're not even worth painting anymore." And like from painting kitchen cabinets, it went, you know what? Let's just do the whole kitchen.
Yeah. I mean, it's an easy upsell. You're already in there.
I'm already in there. They already called me because they wanted kitchen cabinets, but I can offer a lot more than just painting kitchen cabinets. So I get the whole pie.
That's the way to do it. Stay busy. Do like my father-in-law taught me, do less. I mean, you only got so many hours that you can work. So you want to maximize your profit in those hours. Maximize the amount of money you get for the hours that you have to sell. The way to do that is to get the bigger jobs. If you can be on the job longer and do more stuff for the same amount of money without having to switch, clean up, because that cleanup and that setup, it takes time. So you're losing hours.
Yeah, and it's a lot more consistent.
Yes, it's a lot more consistent. So on that aspect, like in your day-to-day business or painting, like what are some challenges that you still run into that somebody listening might be able to, like, oh, I got an idea for you. Like, what's something that you still find challenging day to day on the business side that would be great to get some help on?
I think just finding ways to be more efficient. What I noticed that with every job that I do, I always find ways. How can I be more efficient? How can I not do it quicker in a way that I can get done faster, but how can I be more efficient in a way that I can still deliver the same quality results without compromising, time or value? And with every job, that I do, it's always a little bit different. And it for me is, for every project that I do is finding ways to be efficient, and you gotta kind of figure it out. But every job is different, and the key is to be, how can I be more efficient on this job than I was in the last job?
Yeah. I mean, you just shave a little bit of time off here and there.
Yeah, saving time, but without compromising quality or value.
So it sounds to me like that was kind of going to my next one. Like, what are some of the values that no matter what you've held constant over the 7 years? Like, this is something that I'm not willing to back off of. I don't care who you are or how much you're going to pay me.
Like for me, Zach, there's been times where I've taken projects that have taken longer than I would have expected, that I would have, accounted for. But no matter how long it would take me, I would never compromise, the end result just because I need to get it done in a time frame. So, for example, let's say I have this job, this kitchen remodel, and then, I have it down for completion a month and a half, and it's already, a fixed price. If it takes me a little bit longer, and even though I don't, lose a little bit of money, at the end of the day, I have to make sure that I deliver the results and that my client's happy. It's just, and I come across, and I'm not pretty sure a lot of people come across those problems where, like, oh, I'm going to be here for a week, it's all figured out, and then you run into problems, and it takes a little bit longer, and then, my mindset is, even though it takes a little bit longer, with some jobs, I cannot compromise, my integrity or the value that I provide, and I have to get the job done at all costs.
If you sacrifice your quality, that's when you start not getting the phone calls.
Yeah, and Zach,
People know.
I have really good reviews. I've never, a client has never spoke wrong of me. I feel like every job that I do is very important. And, and a lot of people have a different mindset where a job is like, you know what, I'm here, I'm there, and I will never see these people ever again. I try to develop relationships with my clients because I know that one day they'll call me back for something else.
It's the easiest customer acquisition cost you can get is a repeat customer. I mean, the cheapest is a repeat. You don't have to put any money into it. You've done it. I mean, I know the service industry in the painting world, it's in Oklahoma, here in Texas. It's complex, I guess you could say, to navigate. What are some strategies that, if you've got someone else listening, let's say one of our guys out there, what are some strategies that you use and you have found that keeps you ahead of the curve, that keeps you competitive in your market? Like if someone's trying to be like, man, I just can't figure out how to break into this market and stay busy. What are some of the things that you do that keep you a month out that someone else might be able to take and use?
Well, I mean, Zach, I think what's working for me, and I mean, I know everyone's a little bit different, but I have always been a big believer in, I like to stay on top of all the new trends, of all the new products, of social media. That's kind of the approach I like to take. Like I like to see what's trending. All these new products that are coming out. I like to attend shows. I speak to my vendors. I'll reach out to my sales rep. Hey, what's I like to be informed. I think it's very important to be informed. If there's one key thing that people can take from this podcast is that you have to be informed. You have to take the time to go out there and learn all the new stuff that's coming out. So many things are coming out every year. And if you're not taking the time to invest on your learning and being informed, then you're going to be, behind.
Yeah. That was kind of that puts it perfectly. That was kind of my vision of the podcast, is to help share the information. So if you're like you were 7 years ago and someone asked you to paint cabinets, they can listen and get tips on how to run a business, on, don't start with architectural wood coatings and go into industrial wood coatings, the, the the trips and the failures and the falls that we've all as business owners experienced. How do we help the next generation, the future painters, not have those, and bring a level of respect to the painting industry? That, and in research and information, you're right, that's it. I mean, that's how we get there, is we all stay informed.
I think a very important mindset to have is the mindset of, like never stop learning. Everything is always changing, and it's important to always, have that open mindset that I'm willing to learn, that I want to try different things out. The old school people, they stick to their old ways. Oh, this has always worked for me, and this is what I do, and I'm always going to do that. Things are changing, and if you want to stay competitive in this game, you have to be willing to adapt to the changes, and go with it. And I'm the type of person that I like to adapt. I like to learn. I like to put myself in very uncomfortable situations. I like to try different products. I like to experiment. I love to run tests. I love to learn. I like to go to events. I have to be very well-rounded person if I want to become successful.
I mean, I learned from a friend of mine who started a business years ago. He started a business in the oil and gas industry, and he learned, and I've kind of taken it to heart, of, you're going to start a path. I want to do painting business, but your path is going to have lefts, it's going to have rights, it's going to have U-turns.
I think the key term here, Zach, is that you have to adapt.
Agree. That adaptability, yes. I mean, he started on one path, and now all he does is sell a fitting, and very well, it's just selling a fitting. Like, you never know where your path's going to take, so you have to be open. I agree. I'm with you on that. Like, we got to be open-minded. If it goes one way, it's taking you into full kitchen remodels. I mean, that's incredible.
That's where it took me. I mean, like, And if I had a fixed mindset where like, oh, I just focus on doing this and this is all I do, and I don't do that, it wouldn't open the opportunity for bigger stuff.
Any tips you would give someone that's wanting to break into the painting industry as a career, like besides adaptability? Any advice for anybody out there listening that says, hey, I think I want to do this, I think I can do it?
No one guarantees that you're going to be successful, but if you keep going and you keep going at it, you have that possibility that you might make it. So anyone that wants to step into painting cabinets or doing kitchen remodels or any of those trades, and they want to start their own business, it's going to be very, very challenging, very difficult. But if you keep going and you never stop, that's the only thing you can do is keep going.
Push through. That's killer advice. I mean, that's great. Yeah, just keep going. Don't stop.
You keep going. You don't stop, no matter how difficult things might be, no matter how much the struggle. Even if you're starting and you're not making money and you're like, well, I'm not making profits, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, you keep going. And that is the mindset that I have for the past 8 years. You keep going.
I love it, man. That's great. I mean, it works. I mean, clearly 8 years in, it works. You just got to push through.
You got to keep going, push through.
Outside of painting out, hobby, activity, like let people know what you do outside of painting that you just passionate about. Like, I always like to find out what people's interests are.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm a nature man. I love going on trails. I love hiking. I love going on long walks and just hiking different trails in California. I've always been very passionate about just trails. I love hiking.
Just hiking on foot, no bike, just
hiking on foot. And when I'm hiking, I get to zone out from the business, from all the stress, from all the work, from all my problems, because I'm in nature. And I got no phone service, no nothing. I'm just just in the zone. So hiking has been very beneficial for me for my mental state.
It's a good one. Have you done anything like, oh man, like you always see stuff about this at the PCH where people hike that whatever that trail that is that goes from California all the way up to Washington?
And I've heard about it, but I never done it. No.
What's your to date your favorite place to hike in California?
In my area, there's it's called Mission Peak. And it's located over by Fremont. And what I like about Mission Peak is that to get to the top, it's about an hour and a half or 2 hour trail all the way to the top. And then, they have this really nice big pole where it's like iconic, where people take pictures and you get to see the whole Bay Area. And I really love that trail.
My father-in-law used to do a lot of hiking when he was younger, and his favorite thing to do, and I've done it a couple times, but I mean, clearly I'm not a guy that goes on a lot of walks.
You don't have to be like in physical shape to enjoy the hike. You can just, it's just hiking is, it's not very strenuous sport, I would say.
Yeah. His favorite was they would go on hikes in Colorado, and I've been on a couple of them, but he always would pick a peak and they would hike up it. No hurry. I think they hiked the Grand Canyon. I think he's hiked the Grand Canyon like 6 times. I mean, he would always take a beer. He would always pack a beer to go to the top. And that was kind of like the culmination, like have a beer, just sit down and relax and just enjoy the Mother Nature's beauty. Like that was his favorite thing to do. As we're wrapping up, let's just kind of go to, and the very last question I like to ask, this is where I give you just as much time as you want to ask me any questions that you may have or anything that you may need help with. Is there anything that you think that my experience might be able to shed some light on or help you grow in any way?
Like, Zach, I feel like you're a man, and I call you the man, the beard of knowledge.
Well, I appreciate that.
I mean, because you've done it for so long, and I mean, like you kind of like been through it all.
I've messed up a lot.
And I learned, and I know that, people learn from their mistakes. However, if I would have had a mentor or someone that I can actually pay money and I'm willing to pay good money to teach me, to show me the ropes, so that way I wouldn't make all those mistakes. I would rather take that approach from an efficiency point of view. I never had that. I never had anyone sit down and teach me, hey, Rob, this is how you do it. You do this, let me show you. No one really taught me. I kind of had to learn on my own, learn by like watching videos on YouTube, on Instagram. But I never had a mentor, never had anyone sit down where I can just call on the phone and like, hey, you know what, or attend a class. Never had none of that. So, but I feel like, if you can do it, Zach, but, I think it'll be better if you can do it and target people like in an online program, something that, you can, go online and then, you can, there's a guide and it'll teach you and it'll show you kind of like an online course of learning, especially with the Centurion product. I think that'll be really, really good because a lot of people, use the Centurion, but it's not very user friendly. I mean, like you need to know what you're doing. If not, you're going to mess up.
Agree. Yes. Those industrial wood coatings tend to be very, very specific. They're hard for DIYers to use, or even people just now getting into it. Like, it takes time.
Yeah. So I think if you or Centurion or, something can happen where there's like an online training program where people can learn how to use the Centurion products from the professionals, and there's videos and there's tips, and you can just click online and be like, oh, you know what, there's a video on this, or, let me watch it. There's a video on that. I think it'll be very, very beneficial, not only to me, but to anyone else who wants to use those products.
That's a good one, man. Yeah. That's definitely something to look at, man.
I know on Facebook there's a group chat, a forum, where people, type, oh, this is the issue that I have with Centurion, and they'll give you, people will reply with comments. But I think, a better approach, if there's like an online program where people can, maybe pay a small fee to access that information or those videos from a qualified professional.
Yeah, like a subscription type deal where you have access to behind the scenes.
And I know I will pay for it, and I know a lot of people else will pay for it as well.
Okay, well, that's good. I mean, that's something to think about. I hadn't thought about that, but that's definitely worth looking at. I mean, because one thing that I've found out that I love, besides the entrepreneurial aspect of a business, serial entrepreneur, growing sales, is teaching. Like, I think it's a lot of fun. Teaching those classes, like the one that we did for Kelly Moore.
Oh, yeah, I was there, yeah.
Yeah, those classes are fun to me. It's fun to get out there and teach people and help people grow and just to see that look when they get it. When they finally spray it and they get it, they're like, holy crap, like this is going to change it for me. Like that, there's a, I can see why people become teachers when you start doing stuff like that. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it's also very rewarding as well.
Yeah, very rewarding. So, yeah. Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on. It's been a great talk. Everybody stay tuned. We've got more episodes coming. We're going to be releasing episodes every Monday. So I appreciate it coming on the podcast. Shoot out your socials there, Rob. Let people tell them about your social media so they can go follow you.
Oh, yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Rob. I'm the owner of Rob's Cabinet Painting and Refinishing. My new page right now is called Rob's Kitchen Remodel and Cabinet Painting. And you can find me on Instagram and also on Google.
Awesome. All right, everybody, have a good one, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks, Rob.
Thank you for having me. Have a good day.
And that's a wrap on this episode of the Bearded Finisher Podcast. We thank everyone for joining. Keep hustling, keep learning, and never settle for anything less than your best. Remember, the path to perfection is a journey, not a destination. Until next time.